I work first shift and my husband works second shift. Because of that, I often spend nights alone. He gets home around 2 a.m. I lock the bedroom door when I am home and he is working. I would hear noises and be not sure what it was, and I got tired of checking. It was usually my cats or an appliance. But I got tired of checking. So I lock the door so if I hear a noise, I know it's the cats or an appliance, and if not, I have a locked barrier between me and whatever it could be. And when I go to sleep, I unlock the bedroom door so he can get in. Last night he came hours early. He was cut from work because it was extra slow. I didn't hear him come in through the front door because I had the TV and air conditioner on. If I did hear him, I always go out to say hi and I unlock the door, as I do. But I didn't hear him, so I couldn't. He tried to get in and found the door locked. It took me a few seconds to pause the TV and get my cat off of me and get up to unlock the door. He started questioning me about why the door was locked and what I was hiding. I told him I wasn't hiding anything. I just lock it when I'm in here and he's working, just in case. He doesn't believe me and thinks I was hiding something because it was locked and I wasn't there instantly to let him in. Emily sat on the edge of the bed. The familiar hum of the air conditioner mixing with the quiet purring of her tabby cat, Muffin, who had made a cozy home on her lap. It had become a regular scene after the sun went down, just her, the TV, the soft rustle of the curtains in the breeze, and the small noises around the house that always seemed louder when she was alone. Ever since she and Jason got married and moved into the little one-story house near the edge of town, their schedules had been completely opposite. She worked at a small dental office just outside the city. Her mornings started early, usually around 6 a.m., and she was back home by late afternoon. Jason, on the other hand, worked at a local food distribution warehouse. His shift started in the evening and ended in the early hours of the next day. At first, they thought the schedule would be temporary. Jason had taken the second shift because it paid more, and they were trying to save for a down payment on a better car. But weeks turned into months, and now it had been nearly a year of passing each other like ships in the night. Because of their mismatched routines, Emily often found herself alone during the evenings. The house felt bigger and quieter than it did when Jason was home. At first, she would jump at every creak, every thud, or sudden beep from one of the kitchen appliances. Most of the time, it was the cats knocking things over or walking across the counter like they owned the place. Other times, the refrigerator would make a clunk or the dryer would beep softly when the cycle finished. At first, she would get up and check everything each time she heard something. She would tiptoe down the hallway, flip on lights, peek out windows, but over time, the routine wore her down. It was exhausting being on edge, especially after a full day at work. So one night, she made a small change. She started locking the bedroom door. It made her feel safer, not because she feared something terrible, but because it created a clear line between her and everything else. If she heard a sound and the bedroom door was still locked, she could breathe easier, knowing nothing unknown was right outside her room, just the cats, or maybe the dishwasher. And she always made sure to unlock the door before going to sleep. That way, when Jason came home around 2 a.m., he could quietly slip into the room, take a shower, and lie down beside her without trouble. It was a habit now, like brushing her teeth or turning on her white noise machine. But last night was different. Emily had no idea that Jason would be home early. His warehouse had a slow night, and several workers were cut loose hours ahead of schedule. He did not think to text. Maybe he wanted to surprise her. Maybe he thought she would be awake. She had been curled up on the bed with Muffin, watching a quiet documentary on animals. The TV was turned up a little louder than usual, and the air conditioner near the window was blowing strong. She did not hear the front door open. She did not hear the gentle jingle of Jason's keys or the soft thud of his boots on the hallway floor. What she did hear was a sudden rattle at the bedroom doorknob. Her heart jumped. Before she could react, she heard Jason's voice, muffled but clearly irritated. "Why is the door locked?" Emily fumbled for the remote to pause the TV, then gently lifted Muffin off her lap. The cat protested with a loud meow and leaped onto the nightstand, knocking off a book. Emily crossed the room quickly, her hands trembling just a little as she turned the lock. As soon as the door opened, Jason stepped inside, his eyebrows pulled together in confusion and frustration. "Why is this locked? What are you doing in here?" he asked again. Emily blinked, surprised. "What? I always lock it when you're at work." Jason shook his head. "You never told me that. I thought you were hiding something." Her heart sank. "I was not hiding anything. I was just watching TV and relaxing. I always unlock it before bed so you can come in. You did not open it right away, he said. Why did it take you so long? Emily looked at him, her voice soft. I had to pause the show, and the cat was on me. It was only a few seconds, but Jason looked away, folding his arms across his chest. The room felt colder now, even though the air conditioner had not changed. I am not doing anything wrong, Emily whispered, more to herself than to him. Jason did not answer right away. Jason stood in the doorway for a few moments. His face, usually calm and kind, looked tight with suspicion. Emily could see the hurt in his eyes, even though he was trying to act tough. She knew Jason was not the type to shout or slam doors. But sometimes, the quiet kind of anger hurt even more. He finally sat down at the edge of the bed without saying anything. Emily followed, taking a seat beside him. The soft buzz of the air conditioner filled the silence between them. I was not trying to make you feel shut out, she said, her voice gentle. I just get nervous at night. I do not sleep well when I keep hearing noises. Jason looked down at the floor. But why not tell me you were locking the door? I never knew you were doing that. I guess I just thought it was not a big deal. I always unlock it before bed, so you can get in. I did not think it would ever be a problem. He nodded a little, but his shoulders stayed tense. Emily watched him closely. Jason, do you really think I would hide something from you? Jason rubbed the back of his neck. I do not know. It just felt strange. I came home early, and the door was locked. You did not answer right away. I guess my mind went places. Emily's eyes softened. I was watching TV, and Muffin was sleeping on me. You know how she is when she finds a warm lap. Jason gave a faint smile, but it faded just as quickly. Still, it just felt off. Emily nodded slowly. Understand, but I promise, I was not doing anything wrong. I just felt safer that way when you were gone. That is all. The two sat in silence again. The TV still paused on the screen across the room. A picture of a baby panda blinked quietly from the frozen frame. Muffin curled up again at the foot of the bed, purring as if nothing had happened. I guess I just miss feeling close to you, Jason finally said. We hardly see each other anymore. Emily felt her chest tighten. I know. I miss you too. When they first got married, everything had felt so simple. They would have dinner together every night, talk about their day, maybe go for a walk around the block. But now, Emily came home to an empty house, and Jason returned to a sleeping one. Their lives were split into two separate shifts. They had never really talked about how the distance was affecting them. Sometimes, Emily said quietly, I wish we could go back to those early days. Remember when we would stay up and play board games until midnight, even if we had work in the morning? Jason chuckled. Yeah, we were so tired the next day, but it was worth it. She reached for his hand and gave it a gentle squeeze. I do not want a locked door between us. Not really. I want us to feel safe, together. But at the same time, when you are not home, I just get a little scared. I get it, he said softly. It is just ... I did not expect to feel like I was on the outside looking in. Emily looked at him with careful eyes. Then let us make sure you never feel that way again. I will still lock the door if I need to, but I will let you know. I will text you when I do it. That way, it will never feel like a secret. Jason nodded. Okay, that sounds fair. The words were a start, but Emily could still feel the space between them, not just on the bed, but in their routines, their hearts, their tired faces after long shifts. They were both holding on to the hope that small changes could fix the growing distance. They went to sleep that night, a little quieter than usual. Jason pulled the blanket over them both and turned off the lamp. The air conditioner buzzed on. Muffin stretched out at their feet, and Emily lay there in the dark, wondering if love was still enough to close all the spaces time had slowly carved between them. In the middle of the night, she woke up briefly and reached out, feeling Jason's hand in the dark. He squeezed her fingers gently, half asleep. That was enough for now. The next morning, the sunlight slipped softly through the window blinds, casting narrow golden lines across the carpet. Emily opened her eyes slowly, her body still curled under the warmth of the blanket. Beside her, Jason was already gone. She sat up, blinking against the light. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Emily swung her feet over the side of the bed and walked into the kitchen. A small note sat on the counter, written in Jason's familiar handwriting. Had to leave early to help with a delivery truck. Left coffee for you. We will talk more tonight. Love, Jay. Emily ran her fingers across the words. Love, Jay. It made her smile, even if just a little. But she could still feel the tension from the night before like a tight thread running through her chest. She poured herself a cup of the coffee Jason had made and sat at the kitchen table, watching the steam rise from her mug. Muffin meowed softly and rubbed against her leg, as if asking for attention. Emily bent down to pet her. "You caused quite the delay last night," she whispered, with a half smile, "but you are not the reason Jason got upset." "That part's on me." It was strange, she thought. How something as small as a locked door could bring out so many feelings, confusion, worry, fear, and not just for her. Jason had seemed so unsure of her last night, so quick to wonder if she was hiding something. That hurt the most. She had never broken his trust. Not once. But maybe they had both gotten used to drifting past each other like clouds on different winds. Maybe, without realizing it, they had started to forget how to stand in the same place. After finishing her coffee and feeding the cats, Emily grabbed her phone and sent Jason a message. "Hope the morning went okay. Thinking about last night. I want us to fix this. Love you." She stared at the screen for a second before hitting send. The day moved slowly. Work at the clinic was quiet, and Emily found herself distracted during phone calls and check-ins. Her thoughts kept circling back to Jason. Would he respond? Would he still be upset when he came home? Was this the kind of thing couples just got past, or was it something deeper? By the time she got home that afternoon, Jason still had not replied. She told herself he was just busy, maybe lifting boxes, maybe helping in the back with inventory, but it still stung. A little silence can be louder than 1,000 words. Evening came, and she returned to her routine. Dinner for one. Dishes cleaned, cats fed, TV on. The air conditioner whirred softly in the background. She looked at the bedroom door. Her fingers hovered over the lock. Should she turn it? Would locking it again make Jason feel pushed out? Or would leaving it open make her spend the night jumping at every creak and clunk? After a long pause, she locked the door but then picked up her phone. "Hey, just locked the door like we talked about. It helps me sleep. I will unlock it before bed. Hope your shift is going okay." She set the phone down and curled into her usual spot. Muffin jumped onto her lap, settling in quickly with a contented sigh. On the screen, a family of penguins waddled across a frozen land. Emily tried to focus, but her mind kept wandering. An hour passed. Then two. Finally, her phone buzzed. Jason's name lit up the screen. "Thanks for the message. I understand. Now, I was just surprised last night. I trust you, Emily. I am sorry I made you feel bad. I love you." Her chest loosened, as if she had been holding her breath all day without knowing it. She smiled at the screen, her eyes soft with relief. "Thank you, I love you too." Later that night, she unlocked the door before heading to bed. She brushed her teeth, turned off the lights, and lay down under the blankets. The house made its usual noises, pipes groaning, wind against the windows, a sudden thud in the hallway, probably one of the cats again. But this time, Emily did not feel alone. The door was open, not just in the hallway, but between her and Jason, and even though they were on opposite schedules, she felt like they had taken a step toward each other. A small one, but a real one. She slept deeply that night. At 2:07 a.m., Jason crept into the bedroom, his movements careful and quiet. He saw the door open and smiled to himself. Muffin greeted him with a low meow from the corner of the bed. He reached out and scratched her behind the ears before slipping under the covers next to Emily. She stirred slightly, turning toward him in her sleep. Jason whispered, barely above a breath, "I am here." The days that followed passed quietly, almost like the calm after a gentle rain. Emily and Jason went back to their usual routines, but something felt different, better, warmer, safer. There were no big speeches or dramatic moments, just small things. Jason started leaving little notes again, like he used to when they first got married. Some said simple things like, "Left dinner in the fridge," or "Hope today is kind to you." Others were even simpler, a smiley face drawn on a sticky note or a heart with their initials inside. Emily smiled when she found them. In return, she began doing little things to. She would prep Jason's coffee mug with his favorite mix and leave it by the machine before going to bed. She began texting him around the same time every evening, just a short check-in, letting him know she was locking the door and settling down with the cats. The door still locked, but it was no longer a wall between them. It had become a symbol of trust. Not something to fear, but something they both understood now. One Saturday morning, when they both happened to have time off, they sat on the front porch with cups of tea. It was early, and the world was quiet except for birds chirping and the rustling of trees. Jason rocked gently in his chair and looked over at Emily. "I was thinking about what happened the other night," he said, voice calm and thoughtful. Emily looked at him with patient eyes. "Me too. I think it scared me," he said after a moment. "Not the locked door, but the idea that we were drifting apart and I did not even notice." Emily nodded slowly. "I think I was scared, too. I never thought the way I was handling things would hurt your feelings." Jason turned to face her fully. "I know you were not hiding anything. That night, I let my worry get louder than my trust. I am sorry for that." "You were surprised," Emily said softly, "and maybe a little tired. And maybe I should have told you about the door from the beginning." "I guess we both learned something," Jason said. Emily smiled. "Like how a locked door can be a big thing if it is not talked about." Jason chuckled. "Exactly." They sat in silence again, but this time it felt full, not empty. Emily looked out at the quiet street. "Do you ever wonder if other couples go through stuff like this?" Jason nodded. "I bet they do. They just do not always talk about it." "I am glad we did." "Me too." Later that evening, as the sky turned orange and pink, Emily found herself lying on the couch, muffin tucked against her legs. The soft sound of the TV played in the background, but her eyes were closed, her breathing steady. The door was locked, just like always. But this time, it felt different, not because of fear, but because of choice. Her phone buzzed beside her. "Jason, hope you're relaxing. It's quiet here. I'll be home a little early tonight." "Not too early, just early enough for a kiss before you fall asleep." Emily smiled and typed back. "Emily, I'll be waiting." Door unlocked. It was not about the lock anymore. It was about learning how to talk, how to listen, how to give space, and also find each other again. Marriage was not just about grand gestures or picture-perfect days. It was about moments like this, a quiet understanding, a slow rebuild, and the choice to keep showing up. That night, Emily left the door unlocked. She still felt the tiny nervous flutters in her chest when she heard the house creak, but they were smaller now. Her heart felt steadier. At 1:48 a.m., Jason came home. He stepped inside quietly, set down his bag, and walked slowly down the hallway. The bedroom door was open. Emily was already asleep, the covers pulled gently around her shoulders. Jason leaned down, kissed her on the forehead, and whispered, "Thank you for waiting." And though she was still half-dreaming, she smiled. In the soft quiet of that moment, they both knew. Some doors are better left open, not just the ones with locks, but the ones inside the heart too.